Hi everyone, good morning. Back on a Sunday morning, I see Geet is there, Ustad, Amar, Revati is there, Himanshu, Rajiv, Diksha is there. Hi Shazia, hi Amar, hey Omega. Amar, last class notes are not uploaded because Sunday आज करूँगा दोस्त, right? Just wanted to make sure that all those things are corrected in the previous slide. So you will see that today for sure, right? Chapter 1, 2, टू सेशंस क्योंकि इस वीक के दो क्लासेस है तो उसके बाद ही अपलोड आई थॉट आई डू दैट बट एनीवे यू विल गेट इट टुडे टू रिवाइज दर्शन मलय नूर गुड टू सी यू गाइस ऑन संडे एज वेल पुनीत इज देयर रामचंद्र बरकतुल्ला कृष्णा इज देयर गुड just wait for another like what 1 minute or so before we let others to join as well. I know it's a Sunday morning, we'll give everyone 1-2 minute extra to join in. All good, Zafar. Thanks for asking. I hope all is good. What else? Any questions? Anything from last class that is not clear? We can probably talk about the first 1-2 minutes. Any doubts? Anything that's bothering you? You're thinking समझ नहीं आ रहा है, कुछ समझना है, कोई concept है, कोई example है. You can talk about that. Good morning, Pranav. How are you? Thanks, Darshan. Keep reading them. Start building your network on LinkedIn. Superb thing, right? लिंक्डइन जैसा कोई आपके लिए नेटवर्क नहीं है टू गेट आर्टिकलशिप टू गेट अ जॉब टू गेट इनटू प्रैक्टिस टू बिल्ड योर नेटवर्क सो डू दैट ऋषिता अमर अगेन हाय अमर के मौसम इज देयर बाला योग लक्ष्मी मॉर्निंग टू यू एज वेल कार्तिका इज देयर गुड नवनीत पठान और इट्स पतन मैं हमेशा ही नाम गलत ले रहा हूँ इट्स पतन राइट दैट इज हाउ यू स्पेल इट राइट पतन सुल्ताना मैंने पठान की बोले ये ज्यादा ही शाहरुख खान हो गया मेरे दिमाग में ओके अभिनंता इज देयर पेरेला गुड any tips for writing a good answer bhumika there's already a video on YouTube probably I don't know I uploaded that about 2 years ago how to write good answers you can go and search that on YouTube you'll figure that out right somehow someday just sat down to make that video होगी जाके सर्च करो मिल जाएगा आपको I know our Sunday morning classes are always good because everyone's sleeping. It's Pathan, okay, it's Pathan Sultana. Okay. Do you really want me to revise chapter 1? बहुत ही simple तो था, right? Let me tell you chapter 2 what we're going to do today. Okay, chapter 2 which is dynamics of competitive strategy. This chapter is one of the most interesting chapters because here we will talk about competition, we will talk about portfolio analysis, we will talk about competitor analysis, we will talk about core competency, competitive advantages, what is a PCG matrix, what is an Ansof's matrix, what is GE stoplight matrix क्या होता है, SWOT analysis क्या होता है, TOWS analysis क्या होता है, what is a product life cycle, what is competitor grouping, what is scanning, सब कुछ पढ़ेंगे. It's a long chapter. Okay, chapter 2, it's a long chapter. Today we will not be able to complete it, but half of the chapter 2 we will complete today. It's a long one. It's a very interesting one. Sure, Abdul. Some issue. I think नाम ही change कर दिया आपने आपका अब्दुल से खोजेमा कर दिया कोई बात नहीं we'll call you Abdul. Got your name. Hey Balram, good to see you. Riya is there. Karthikeyan, Pawan, Kishore, Naresh. Perfect. रौनक आज होगी संडे दोस्त थोड़ा सा टाइम दे दो मुझे आज मैं अपलोड कर दूंगा राइट चैप्टर 1 और चैप्टर 2 भी कर दूंगा इवन इफ इट इज नॉट कंप्लीटेड चैप्टर 2 आई विल अपलोड द पीपीटी एनीवे ओके इट विल बी अ पीडीएफ फॉर्म सो आई विल अपलोड दिस एंड द प्रीवियस चैप्टर दोनों आफ्टर द सेशन टुडे आई विल अपलोड okay so let us get into our chapter number 2 which is dynamics of competitor strategy okay Dynamics of competitive strategy is what we are going to study today. What all we study in this is very interesting. श्योर बलराम, आपको जो समझ नहीं आएगा लेट मी नो, हिंदी में समझा देंगे. ओके, बट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड थिंग्स मोर इन इंग्लिश. हिंदी आनी चाहिए, हिंदी बहुत अच्छी आनी चाहिए, बट कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में इंग्लिश ही चलती है आजकल. सो बट ओके, एनी कॉन्सेप्ट जो नहीं समझ आता है लेट मी नो, हिंदी में समझा देंगे. ओके, श्योर, वी आर जस्ट डूइंग दैट रामचंद्र. ओके, competitive landscape, what are we going to study and how is that going to help you understand more about what we have studied yesterday? Okay, competitive landscape, who is your real competition? How do you identify for a company, for a business, who is your real competition? For you to open a boutique, is Manish Malhotra your competition, or the shop which is next to you your real competition? Okay, how do you understand that? Is it the top player of the industry my real competition, or the shop next door is my real competition? Second is strategic analysis of self. Okay, you understand your own business better. What you can bring to the customer, what value you can bring to the customer, what is so unique about you that the customer should come to you and pay the money you're asking. Industries competition analysis, like how do you do that? We call it we call it competitive grouping, right? Which is basically you group your competition into different groups. We'll study that. And how do you identify किससे बचना है, किससे लड़ना है, right? It's very important to identify who to fight and who to safeguard yourself from, who can actually like hamper your growth in the industry as a competition versus who you should really fight with or take their business, right? वो समझना बहुत important है. Fourth is finding one's core competency. Core competency is basically what you are best at. Finding one's core competencies, one single thing. It could be a product, it could be a process, it could be your principles of your business, it could be marketing, it could be anything within the business, it could be your CEO, any person in the company as well. What is your core competency? What is that one thing which is the best that you do, right? That is called core competency. Using a competitive advantage to bring more customers, right? यहाँ पे कुछ होगा. So using to like assess, using to know more about your competitive advantage. How do you build competitive advantages is what we'll study. It's not just about what it is, we will also study about how to build your competitive advantage. Then we talk about portfolio analysis models. So like companies like HUL, companies like Tata, companies like Reliance, Adani, Birla, all the big names, Patanjali, or let's take any big company which has multiple products. Any big company which has multiple products of Wipro, TCS, Infosys, you can name any of Flipkart, Amazon, right? इन सब के पास बहुत सारे products हैं बेचने के लिए. How do they analyze? How do they analyze which one needs to be kept, which one needs to be invested more into, which one needs to be stopped, which one needs to be paused for 6 months? How do we analyze that? How do we know that about each product or each service that we are selling? That we will understand in portfolio analysis. Okay. Then we talk about SWOT and TOWS analysis. SWOT analysis and TOWS analysis. SWOT का उल्टा है TOWS. Okay. SWOT, TOWS. So SWOT ka ulta is Tow's matrix, and this is what we'll study about as well. And finally, we will talk about globalization and how has that actually impacted the businesses across the globe, right? It's going to be fun. It's going to be really interactive. I want all of you to ask a lot of questions, and we will start with this, with the first one, which is competitive strategy. Okay. Now, the objective of this entire chapter is to help you understand competitive advantage. Okay, competitive advantage we studied yesterday is nothing but simple one thing. एक चीज होती है which is unique and valued by the customer. Something which is unique and valued by the customer, unique है और valued by the customer है, we call it competitive advantage. We call it competitive advantage. Okay, something which is very unique and valued by the customer is called competitive advantage. Now, How do we build this? What examples can we take for competitive advantage? We'll talk about that. It involves solving the following, right? Competitive strategy का essence है to generate a competitive advantage. Competitive strategy helps in doing what? Solves what problems? Number one, how to attract and retain customers, how to withstand competitive pressures, right? And how to strengthen own competitive position. तीन चीजों में हेल्प करती है competitive strategy. Number one is how to attract and retain the customers. Second is withstand competitive pressure. That means how do you fight the competition. Competitive strategy helps in retaining, in attracting new customers, retaining existing customers. It helps you to fight the competition that is there in the market. And finally, strengthen your own competitive position. That means it makes you stronger as a competition for others, right? Simple है. Three things what competitive strategy does or helps in, solves, objectives, importance, सब कुछ रही है. Any question in your examination related to competitive strategies, importance, support, help, business support, what does it solve, what are the characteristics, how, what are the focus areas, यही तीन चीजें हैं. All these three things is what you should write. Okay. Now, the second concept, when we are understanding competition, competitive strategy helps in building competitive advantage. उसका use क्या है? To attract and retain customers, to fight the competition and become stronger as a competition for others, right? Now, in this, okay, so if you want an example in third one is how do you become stronger, right? Patanjali came with their toothpaste. Now they're fighting Colgate and Pepsodent, राइट? दे स्ट्रेंथनिंग देमसेल्व्स. तो कोलगेट और पेप्सोडेंट से भी स्ट्रांग हो गया है उनका टूथपेस्ट. दैट इज व्हाट इट मीन्स, हाउ टू स्ट्रेंथन योर ओन कंपेटिटिव पोजीशन. दैट इज देयर कंपेटिटिव स्ट्रैटेजी. और न्यू कंपनी कम्स इन, राइट? नाउ पेटीएम था, पेटीएम की जगह फोन पे, भारत पे, गूगल पे. All these are strengthening their own competitive position and then they are becoming better than Paytm, let's say. Just an example, right? This is called how do you strengthen your own competitive position. Okay. Competitive landscape. Competitive landscape is, it refers to the list of all the options a customer could choose rather than your product. Okay. That means every other option that a consumer can choose rather than your product or your entire competition, everyone. Okay, this is competitive landscape. Landscape means every competitor in the industry is competitive landscape. Refers to a list of options a customer could choose rather than your product. Okay. Now, so to withstand competitive pressure means to kill your competition, to not to kill your competition, but to basically like stay afloat when competition is hitting you, right? To survive. It's not about killing your competition, it's about surviving when your competitors are too aggressive. Okay? That is what it means. Can we say product substitutes? Everything. Competitive landscape includes product substitutes, similar products, exactly same products. Everything comes under competitive landscape. Okay. The list includes your competitors' products and other types of customer solutions which can either be same or not the same as yours. This is important thing to understand. For example, competitive landscape. Tell me the competitive landscape of Tata Tea. ठीक है, let's take an example of Tata Tea. Tata Tea का competitive landscape बताओ मुझे क्या क्या होगा. Give me some names of the competitive landscape of Tata Tea. Tell me who all will be in competitive landscape of Tata Tea. ठीक है, very good. Puneet says brew. What else? Brew coffee है, वो होगा. ठीक है, ले लेते हैं. What else? Red Label, Taj Mahal, Society. Okay, coffee, Three Roses, Taj Mahal, Society tea, Red Label, Unpacked tea, Red Label, और green tea, right? Green tea भी होगा. Absolutely, green tea भी होगा. Taj Mahal Nescafe, right? You're absolutely right. All of this is competitive. वाघ बकरी नेस्कैफे, ये एक्स कैसे हो सकता है? बरकतुल्ला एक्स कौन सा चाय बेच रहे दोस्त? एक्स की चाय आती है? पता नहीं, आती होगी तो। ओके, ताज, टेटली, रेड लेबल, देन ब्रू, ओके, वाघ बकरी नेस्कैफे, आई सॉ दैट, ग्रेट, ओके, लिप्टन, absolutely, you guys are absolutely right. Now all these products, whether it is tea or it is coffee, which is also a substitute, which is an option to the customer to drink, right? Now it includes your competitors' products, like you said, Wagh Bakri, Red Label, and everything, and other types of customer solutions, which is coffee, the substitute to tea being coffee, which can either be same or not the same product as yours, which is not same. Tea and coffee are not the same, but they're solving the same problem for the consumer. They're solving the same problem for the consumer, right? This is all of this is coming under competitive landscape. Okay, we'll study about that when we come to competitive advantage, Pranay. What is the competitive advantage of Starbucks? लेंगे example, पहले उस पे आने तो दो. Okay, now strategic landscape के लिए क्या बोलते हैं वो? It says competitive intelligence acquired by an in-depth investigation and analysis. See, out of the study material has a lot of stuff to study. You should go and study that. But, but, right? I have just given you the keywords for every topic, which will help you when you revise. Which will help you when you revise. Okay, so do not just refer this for examination. Study material पढ़नी ही है, but this is what you should also use when you're revising. Okay, juice can also be included in this. नहीं दोस्त, juice तो ठंडा होता है, गरम juice कौन सा होता है? We are talking about hot beverages. Hot chocolate कर सकते हो आप, boost, Bonvita, maybe, yes. Okay, competitive intelligence acquired by an in-depth investigation and analysis of a firm's competition landscape enables in choosing and implementing effective strategies to improve its competitive advantage. It means you have to do an in-depth investigation and analysis of your strategic landscape. As a business, you cannot say मुझे नहीं पता मेरा competition कौन है. Right? As a business, you cannot just go and say, I don't know who my competition is. I don't know what are the substitute products of my product. You need to do an in-depth investigation and analysis of your strategic landscape. As simple as that, common sense, right? Okay, quick question for you on the screen. You have to select the right statement. Number one says competitive advantage leads to core competency. The second statement is core competency leads to competitive advantage. Which of the two you think is right? Competitive advantage leads to core competency or core competency leads to competitive advantage? Interesting है, देखते हैं if you guys understand these things or not. I have already told you the meaning of core competency and competitive advantage. Competitive advantage is something which is unique and valued by the customer. Core competency is something which you are best at. First three answers, second one, first one, second one. Okay, mixed answers. Let's see. I want all of you to answer. The more you answer, the more you understand. Okay. Second. Core competency leads to competitive. Core leads to this. First one, second one, second one. Second. I'll just wait for another 10 seconds. Be active. Read it very carefully. Understand what the question says. Understand what the statements are saying. Both the statements are right. Okay. Ramchandra is being the diplomatic one. Both the statements are right. Okay. Second. First, the correct answer is second. Okay. Core competency leads to competitive advantage. Simple है ना दोस्त? Pure logic again. Now think about this. If your core competency is singing, okay, let me just, if your core competency is singing, your competitive advantage could be romantic songs, that you sing great romantic songs, okay, ये आपकी competitive advantage which is very unique to your singing, right? If you are a good singer only, then your uniqueness in that particular skill, in that particular product, in that particular process will come, right? Something unique you can only give to someone when you're best at it. Simple enough. You will be creating something unique for the customer, which is valued by the customer only when you're good at it. To be good at it, that should be your core competency. So core competency leads to a competitive advantage. You can only create a competitive advantage when you are good at something. To be good at something is called core competency, and core competency leads to competitive advantage. Option number two is the right answer. Okay, great. I wish Amar I used to, if I can sing, फिर मैं classes नहीं ले रहा होता ना, I would be in Indian Idol. Okay, steps involved to win in a competitive landscape. We're talking about competitive strategy. Competitive strategy is used to develop. Okay, absolutely, Abhay, your messages are reaching me. Everyone's messages are reaching me. I see a lot of people interacting, and that's good. Okay, competitive strategy is all about creating a competitive advantage. Competitive advantage create करने के लिए I need core competency. But before doing all of this, I need to understand my competitive landscape. Who is my competition? That is what I need to understand. Who is my competition? Okay. Now, what are the steps involved to win in a competitive landscape? Okay. First, we'll study the theoretical part. Then we go to the example that we have on the screen. Okay. Steps to know your competitive landscape. How do you know, or how do you get to know your competitive landscape? Number one, identify the competitors. ठीक है, first you identify, एक list बनाओ. Who all are my competitors, right? No problem, sir. You can join right now as well. Create a list of all the similar products. Competitive landscape is not just direct products, but also substitutes. Everything that can hamper your sales. Every single competition or competitor product which can hamper your sales is your competitor. Identify the competitors. Number two, understand the competitors, how big they are, how small they are, how aggressive they are, they're international, they're domestic, what are they, right? क्या चीज क्या करते हैं, क्यों करते हैं, कैसे करते हैं. Understand the competitors. Number three, determine their strengths, and number four is know their weaknesses, right? Determine their strengths, determine their weaknesses, and finally pull all the information together to build your competitive strategy. Simple hai. Identify, understand the competitor, determine their strengths, know their weaknesses, and pull out all the information together to build a strategy to beat your competition, right? Okay, let's take a real world example. How competitive landscape, or how do you understand your competition? Let's take an example of Tata Motors. Okay, let's say there is a company, Tata Motors. We all know Tata Motors. Now, Tata Motors sees that other companies are making electric vehicles. Okay, identifying the competitors. So Tata Motors is identifying the competitors, that boss, all these companies are making electric vehicles. They are also making electric vehicles. And these companies are also making electric vehicles. Mahindra, Ola, Ather, all these are making electric vehicles. Understand the competitors. What are they doing currently? What are they doing is, Mahindra is in vehicles, Ather is in charging points, and Ola is building scooters. right? Mahindra is making cars and trucks which are electric. Ather is creating all the charging points, and Ola is building all the scooters, electric scooters. So they understand that each of these companies is in a different segment of electric vehicles. Now it went to the third step to understand their strengths. Okay. Now they understood their strengths could either be capital, their brand trust, their pricing, their quality, their distribution, right? The strength of the competitor can either be capital. For example, Mahindra and Ola have a lot of capital, right? Brand trust. Mahindra has a lot of brand trust. Pricing, Ather has a good pricing strategy. Okay, quality, Mahindra gives quality, Ather gives quality, but Ola is not able to give that quality, right? Distribution, Mahindra has the highest advantage in distribution because they have an existing dealership model, they have existing infrastructure, they have existing factories, right? So उनका distribution is their strength. So you understand each of the competitors' strength, then you understand their weaknesses. Capital. Ather does not have capital. So the weakness of Ather is capital. Brand trust. Ather and Ola both have zero brand trust. People do not trust them as of now to buy their products, right? Pricing. Mahindra's pricing is very competitive for Tata. So if they're selling something at 17, 18, 19, right? Or the pricing of Ola scooters, people are not going to buy a scooter for 2 lakh rupees, right? So the pricing is off here, is what I'm just giving you an example. Okay. Quality. Ola again suffers in quality. Ather is suffering in quality, but Mahindra is not suffering. So weakness for Ather and Ola is their quality, right? And distribution, again for Ather and Ola, distribution is again a channel. Oh, again a challenge. Why? Because they're very new. They have to develop that entire system of distribution. The final one is they collate all of this information. ये पूरी इंफॉर्मेशन जो हमने ऊपर पढ़ी इसको यूज करते हैं और एक अपनी स्ट्रैटेजी बनाते हैं, राइट? इस सब को यूज करते हैं वो और अपनी एक स्ट्रैटेजी बनाते हैं, अपनी एक स्ट्रैटेजी बनाएंगे इस सारी इंफॉर्मेशन को यूज करके. They form a strategy to get into charging points plus vehicles that already exist. स्ट्रैटेजी टाटा मोटर्स ने क्या बनाई? टाटा मोटर्स ने समझा किसी महिंद्रा इज फाइटिंग द कंपटीशन वेरी वेल. Okay, Mahindra is going to be a great competition to me in electric vehicles. So let me get into vehicles, but let me also get into charging points as well. Because वहाँ पे Ather को beat करना मुझे आसान है. It is easy for me to beat Ather in charging points. It's a weak brand. It does not has capital. Distribution नहीं है. मेरे पास वो सब है. As Tata Motors, I can do that. So let me get into charging points and let me also get into vehicles, which is what I've been doing for the last 50 years, right? So that is what this strategy is. They figured out competition. एक की वीकनेस पकड़ी, एक की स्ट्रेंथ पकड़ी. स्ट्रेंथ से फाइट करने जाएंगे और वीकनेस को हम डिसरप्ट करके उसको किल कर देंगे, right? This is what my strategy, this is what my competitive strategy will be. And this is how this is how all the brands build their strategies, build their competitive strategies by understanding the competitive landscape, right? By understanding the competitive landscape, this is how companies use this entire concept. Okay, good. Which according to me is the best? I've not used anyone, so I don't know. I've not used any of these brands. Is Tata making EV a reactive strategy? No, it's not a reactive strategy. It's a proactive strategy. EV अभी हुआ ही कहाँ है? कितना है? 1% 2% मार्केट का भी नहीं है. It cannot be reactive right now. It's the beginning, right? Steps to know competitive landscape is equal to competitive intelligence. Absolutely yes. Mahesh, you want one more example? Give me any brand. Let's figure out. Give me any brand or company. Let's take one more example. कोई भी आपका favorite brand बताओ. Could be anything. Just don't tell me रजनीगंधा वरना पिटाई हो जाएगी. Give me another brand. Let's understand this with them. Isn't Tata copying others? No. No one is copying anyone. They're doing it. Everyone has to essentially need a charging point for EV, right? तो कॉपी कैसे हो गया दोस्त? ऐसे तो अमूल और मदर डेयरी एक दूसरे की कॉपी कर रहे हैं क्या? और ज़ारा एंड H&M एक दूसरे को कॉपी कर रहे हैं क्या? They're not copying each other. That is how businesses are. That is how competition is. Okay, I have couple of examples. Tata, Jio, Zomato, Sugar, IQ, and Jio. Let's take example of Zomato. Okay. Now, what is it doing? Let's understand this. Tell me the companies. Identify the competitors for Zomato. Tell me. Who are the competitors of Zomato? Let's take an example of a latest company, right? ये Nokia, Nokia तो बहुत पुराने हो गए. Samsung, Jio भी बड़ा हो गया काफी. Airtel, Jio are also very old and big companies. Let's take a newer company. Tell me who identify the competitors of Zomato. कौन से हैं? स्विगी और क्या है? डंजो. स्विगी है, उबर ईट्स है, फूड पांडा है. ओके, यू हैव व्हाट एल्स? डंजो, जेप्टो. ओके, डाइनर, इजी डाइनर. इजी डाइनर भी तो आता है ना एक. एक वो भी आता है आपका एम पिन. व्हाट इज दैट? देयर इज अनदर थिंग कॉल्ड पिन करके कुछ है, एंड देन देयर इज इजी डाइनर. और कौन से हैं? देयर कपल ऑफ देम, राइट? बट लेट्स टेक एग्जांपल ऑफ स्विगी ले लिया हमने, इजी डाइनर ले लिया, फ्रेश मेन्यू ले लिया, ब्लिंकिट ले लिया, ओके, ग्रोफर्स ले लिया. नहीं, ये सब मीशो खाना कहाँ बेचते हैं दोस्त? कि उबर ईट्स. ऑल्सो यूर राइट, ऑल दी ऑनलाइन एप्स ऑफ द रेस्टोरेंट्स देमसेल्फ. मैकडोनल्ड्स की अपनी ऐप, पिज्जा हट की अपनी ऐप और वेबसाइट, डोमिनोज की अपनी ऐप एंड वेबसाइट, और द शॉपकीपर्स हु हैव देयर ओन पैम्फलेट्स कहते हैं हमको डायरेक्ट फ़ोन करो, राइट? Right? These are all their direct competition. These are they are their competitors, right? Now they need to understand the competitors better. Like the website of Pizza Hut, or a Domino's ki website or an app or offers that Domino's and website are giving them to do direct sales instead of Zomato, right? और all these restaurants calling up, और स्विगी क्या कर रहा है जोमेटो के साथ? स्विगी को समझता है अगर वो, if they start understanding Zepto or an easy diner, what are they currently doing, so it will understand. स्विगी और जोमेटो में थोड़ा सा फर्क है. if you have seen, Swiggy targets more of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities and 3-star, 2-star hotels or restaurants, right? Zomato wants to go higher on the premium restaurants, right? That is the difference between them. ये उससे तो यूएसए में रहते लगता है. डोर डैश, ग्रब हब, डिलीवरू, पोस्टमेट्स, चाव नाउ, ये सब इंडिया में कहाँ है दोस्त? आई हैव नेवर सीन दीज इन इंडिया, राइट? आलोक से टैक्स बहुत ज्यादा लेता है जोमेटो क्योंकि वो प्रीमियम चार्ज करता है, राइट? सो टू अंडरस्टैंड द कंपेटिटर इज व्हाट आर दे करंटली डूइंग. स्विगी टीयर 2, टीयर 3 में ध्यान दे रहा है, थोड़े सस्ते ऑर्डर्स हैं स्विगी पे. जोमेटो हैज हायर ऑर्डर वैल्यू, राइट? नाउ दे अंडरस्टैंड द स्ट्रेंथ्स. The strength for Swiggy has a very strong pricing strategy. स्विगी के प्राइजेज हमेशा जोमेटो को बीट कर देते हैं. सो द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ देयर कंपटीशन विच इज स्विगी इज प्राइसिंग. व्हाट इज द वीकनेस? द क्वालिटी. द क्वालिटी ऑफ स्विगी वर्सेज द क्वालिटी ऑफ जोमेटो, ये है क्वालिटी. ये क्वालिटी इज द वीकनेस ऑफ देयर कंपटीशन. Pricing is the strength of their competition. Okay, weakness is the quality, and strength is the pricing of their competition. So what is their strategy? इनकी strategy है कि they do a lot of marketing at the right time to build that customer. Okay, अब YouTube पे अगर आप जाओगे, every video starts with a Zomato की ad, right? So their strategy is to attract more customers even before Swiggy reaches us, right? So they want to be the first app for food delivery or food ordering or going out or whatever it is, table booking, this membership, subscription, Zomato Gold, whatever it is. They want them to be the first preference for the customer, right? That is their like strategy to beat the competition, which is Swiggy, whose weakness is quality, whose strength is pricing, and what it is doing differently is it is targeting a different market though, right? which is true. The ads are really irritating, but that is how what they're doing, right? That is their competitive strategy. And this is how for any company, you can know and understand a competitive landscape, which means everything under the sun which can hamper your sales or which can hamper your revenues is called your competitive landscape, right? Question on your screen, right? Question on your screen. प्रणव, गुड क्वेश्चन. मेरे पास रेंज रोवर है या ओडीआई? मेरे पास दो साइकिल है एटलस की. स्विगी इज नॉट लिस्टेड ऑन शेयर मार्केट. उनकी मर्जी, मतलब दैट इज नॉट अ वीकनेस दो, विच इज अ गुड थिंग. उनको ज्यादा खर्चा नहीं आता है लीगल का. बट देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन ऑन योर screen. Read that very carefully and answer. Okay, Backofy is making INR 230 crores in profit annually with a CAGR of 8%. What is CAGR? कौन बताएगा CAGR क्या होता है? And serves 72% of the total customer base in India. While its competitors are making under 100 crores and less than 5% in CAGR. Backofy has achieved what? What has it achieved? Competitive advantage, market position, strategic choice, or value creation? CAGR is compound annual growth rate. That is right, Darshan and Mahesh. Compound annual growth rate. CAGR is the growth rate year on year. Compound annual growth rate CAGR is 8%. Competitor का 5 है. What has it achieved? Majority Janta Singh competitive advantage. I want all of you to answer. I see Himanshu, Muthuraman, Keshav, Nidhi is there. Safar, Geet, Ustad, Heaven, Aditya, Priyanka, Kanchan, Alok, Sabha, Sudhanshu, Jadev, Diksha is there, Modam. Sankaran says all, सब कुछ अचीव कर लिया है. भगवान बन गया है Backofy. Darshan, Jasleen has answered. Okay, Syed says compound annual growth rate. Pranav, Rajiv, good. It's not central, it's compound. Aparajita says competitive advantage. Okay. Abdul says option B. Ronak says option A. Kartika says option A. Jay Dipanshu say option A. The correct answer is market position. Why not competitive advantage? Sir, you have to understand one thing, okay? हर चीज जो हम पढ़ा रहे हैं वो आंसर नहीं होगा, पहली बात तो. That is why I'm putting the questions for you to confuse you. Okay. The first thing is, I can see your answers, Dikshita. Okay. Everything that we are studying is not going to be the next question का answer. First of all, तुक्का मार रहे हो अगर तो. Now, ये रहा. It serves 72% of the total customer base in India. This is called market position. It is the number one player in the market. It has achieved a market position of being the topper company. इसमें competitive advantage कैसे समझ आई आपको? Somebody tell me, how did you understand that they have achieved competitive advantage? It could be value creation also. ऐसे तो it could be value creation also. Competitive advantage के लिए you need to create something unique and valued by the customer, which does not mean you are the leader in the industry. Leader in the industry होने की जरूरत नहीं है उसके लिए. Simple है ना? See, I'll give you an example. I don't know if you watch web series or not. Manoj Vajpayee, okay? Manoj Vajpayee has a competitive advantage in web series or roles, what he does, right? In a common man role or whatever shows he does, he has a competitive advantage there. But he's not the topmost actor in India, right? ऐसा तो नहीं है मनोज वाजपेयी is the topmost actor in India, highest paid. He is not with SRK or Salman Khan or whoever the top is, right? He's not there. He's not there, but still he has a competitive advantage. Correct है ना? He still has a competitive advantage, but he is not at the top of the actors list. So if you see here that 72% of the total customer base is with it has acquired in India, does not necessarily guarantee does not necessarily guarantee this company will have a competitive advantage. They will have, but everyone else will also have their own competitive advantage, right? हर कंपनी की अपनी competitive advantage, यार इन्होंने भी 100 करोड़ का धंधा बनाया हुआ है. While its competitors are making 100 crore businesses, they can not create a 100 crore business without a competitive advantage. इनके पास भी तो कोई competitive advantage होगी तभी 100 crores का business है. So the answer here is market position, because the relevant thing in the question is 72% of the total customer base in India, right? इसीलिए I keep telling you exam में please question बहुत ध्यान से पढ़ना. Please read the questions very carefully, otherwise you will start losing all the marks. इतना easy नहीं होगा, right? Okay. Is strategic analysis a speculative activity? That is a question you should have in your mind as well. मच्छर किधर से आ गया? Okay. A strategic analysis, is it a speculative activity? Simple thing you should ask is, I do not know the future. I do not know the environment. How is it going to change? Right? I don't know how the environment is going to change, how the competition is going to change. कल कोविड आ जाएगा, सरकार चेंज हो जाएगी, इन्फ्लेशन आ जाएगी, रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर हो गई, हमको पता ही नहीं कल क्या होना है. How do I create my strategy? How do I analyze a strategy for 3 years, 5 years? Is this a speculative activity? Is this सट्टेबाजी? Is this a guessing game? क्या companies guesswork करती हैं? Right? You tell me. It's a question to you. Do you think the top management of all these big companies, small companies, any business, when they create a strategy for, let's say, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, do you think they are doing guesswork? Speculative activity means, are they doing guesswork? Are they building everything, assuming things, right? That is what speculative activity means. I haven't, Yashraj. You are late in the class. We have already talked about that. I will upload both of these today. Your answer is visible, Nitesh. I have a few answers say no, they do not speculate. वो सट्टा नहीं लगाते हैं, वो guesswork नहीं करते हैं, right? What else? Anyone who thinks it is all guesswork, when you do not know the future, when you do not know what will happen in 3 years, 5 years, how can you build a strategy? ये तो सट्टेबाजी हो गई. Yes, yes. They're taking decision based on information. They do environment scanning before crafting strategy. Yes, speculative activity happens to some extent. It's not guessing, but more based on past records. Okay. Right. Let's understand this. Okay. Strategy formulation is not a task in which managers can get by with intuition, opinion, instincts, and creative thinking. Judgments about what strategies to pursue need to flow directly from analysis. Logic होना चाहिए, right? There should be a logic. There should not be havabazi, right? It should not be havabazi. It should have some logic based on data analysis. Okay. The two most important situational considerations are, what are others doing and what we as an organization or as a business going to do. Okay. Everything is based on data analysis and logic. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता सीईओ को बस फील आ रही है कि अरे आज से तो 5 साल बाद मैं 5 गुना कर दूंगा धंधा, राइट? नाउ लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल हियर, ओके? आपको एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. I have a drawing space. Let me use that. Okay. I have created a drawing space. I'll use that. Okay. Here we go. Now, we are talking about whether it is speculative or not. Now, there is a company. Okay. There's a company A. Now, you're a chartered accountant. Understand this question or this case very carefully. ठीक है? 2018, 2019 और यहाँ लिखते हैं 2020. Okay. There are 3 years. There are 3 years for this company. Okay. यहाँ पे हमारी है सेल्स, यहाँ पे हमारा है नेट प्रॉफिट और यहाँ पे हमारा है कैश फ्लो. ओके. नेट प्रॉफिट है, ये मेरा नेट प्रॉफिट है और मेरा कैश फ्लो है. ठीक है. सेल्स वाज 100 crores, नेट प्रॉफिट वाज 20%. ठीक है, 20% था और कैश फ्लो था मेरा 50 crores का. ओके. अंडरस्टैंड दिस केयरफुली. 2019, 120 crores, 21% profit and 30% cash flow. Oh, 30 crores का cash flow. Okay, 30 crores का cash flow. 2020 में क्या हुआ? My sales was only 90 crores. मैंने सिर्फ 90 crores बनाए. अरे बन जा दोस्त. Okay, मैंने 90 crores बनाए at a net profit of a great 24%. आज तक के highest profit पे, right? And my cash flows were still 30 crores. Now, if I ask you in 2021 and 2022, 2021 and 2022 में, 2021, 2022 में, would you invest in this company? You are an investor. You are an investor. Would you invest in this company? If yes, why? If no, why? Ramchandra, I'm coming to that. Okay. I understand your question, that assumption hogi, but let's come to this example, then I'll tell you why. Would you as an investor invest in this company in 21-22 को देखते हुए, next 2 years का future देखते हुए, what would you, yes or no? If yes, why? If no, why? Give me a reason as well, okay? Ramchandra, to your question, right? You're saying if you know that, if you have the data trends and you can predict how the future is going to change, then you're not predicting, you have logic to believe that. वो prediction नहीं होती है फिर, right? It is not a prediction then. It is backed by logic and data of the, that government policy is changing for EV. So if I say government is going to invest $3 billion in electric vehicles in the next 2 years, I'm not predicting anything. I know this is going to happen. ये तो होने ही वाला है, right? It is not a prediction anymore. It is going to happen. So that is not a prediction or an assumption, or we can say a balloon of your thoughts. It's going to happen. That is what we are talking about here. Yes, because profit is important. Those sales have come down, profits are better. No, the sales are, we are losing the sales. No, because sales are decreasing. Yes, because net profit is increasing. As sales is decreasing, you will not. Yes, no. Yes, because invest because profit is increasing. No, because sales is reducing and fund flow is also decreasing. So you will not. Yes, they are growing. I will not invest. Sales are down, though profit would be less. So profit will be less. Profit is increasing with better cash flow. Okay. If cash flow is high, sales is low with lesser profit, then the trend is not good. Okay. What else? No profit, no loss equal. Yes, because you get a high profit. No, because even though the net profit is getting higher, but the sales is getting lower. Okay, sales is increasing, company comes low sales is decreasing, profit is better. Yes, if they increase future sales, we will have good profit. No, because sales fall and net profit may also fall. There is no right and wrong answer here. Let me tell you. What I'm trying to do here is, what I'm trying to do here is, let's say all of you are the top management, right? All of you are the top management. Now you are creating an investment strategy. आपने in the last 1 minute in your mind you created an investment strategy based on data, based on data and logic. You gave me a reason. There was a logic for what you believed in, right? And that logic was data. Now, how you interpret the data is dependent on you. How you interpret the data is dependent on you, right? And all of you used this information, right, to build a basic thought. Pranav, you might need more information, but यहाँ example दे रहे हैं, यहाँ पे आपका interview नहीं हो रहा है, okay? So you used some data, you applied some logic, and then you decided whether I should do this or not do this, right? That is exactly what strategic analysis is, right? None of us was too aspirational. आपने ये तो नहीं सोचा ना कि 2021-22 में तो ये 90 करोड़ का 3000 करोड़ हो जाएगा. किसी ने सोचा? किसी ने नहीं सोचा. क्यों? Because the data is not saying that. Because the data is not saying that. Simple. None of us thought that a 90 crore business will become a $9 billion business. 9 बिलियन का धंधा हो जाएगा. किसी ने भी नहीं सोचा. Why? Because the trend was not like that. Trend was from 100 to 120 to 90. जब ट्रेंड ही डिक्रीजिंग है तो मैं 9 बिलियन थोड़ी ना सोच लूंगा दोस्त. राइट? एब्सोल्युटली. And this is why it proves your strategic analysis is not a speculative activity. It's based on data, it's based on analysis, it's based on trends, right? A 90 crore business might become a $9 billion business, but उसकी chances कितने हैं? 0.0000001%. इसके ऊपर bet थोड़ी ना कोई लगाएगा. इतनी कम probability पे कोई bet नहीं लगाएगा, right? Based on trends, you do your analysis, and that is what I was trying to tell you. That is exactly what we were trying to understand, right? It's not a task which managers do on intuition, opinion, instinct, or creative thinking. Judgments about what strategy to pursue need to flow directly from analysis, right? And two things important are what are others doing and what we can do as a business. इन दो चीजों को समझते हैं and then we create a strategy. Okay, great. किधर क्या? Okay. Twin factors. Twin factors to consider for strategic analysis. बहुत simple है. Number one is strategy evolves over a period of time, right? And number two is balance of external and internal factors. Balance of internal and external factors. Now, what does this mean? जो yellow highlight किया है, these are your keywords, okay? It evolves from experience and needs constant review and revision. Two factors for strategic analysis, most asked question in the examination. Please remember this, two factors for strategic analysis. Number one is it evolves over a period of time. It evolves over a period. क्या चल रहा है पेन? It evolves over a period of time. And number two, it's a balance of external and internal factors. Okay. It evolves from experience. It evolves from your constant review, constant revision, right? Yashraj, your messages are reaching. Why not? Absolutely. Everything is reaching me. I can see those, right? Strategy evolves over a period of time. It evolves from experience, needs constant review and revision, right? You constantly. It's a never ending, it's a never ending cyclical process. Chapter number 1, strategy formulation, strategy or strategic management is a never ending cyclical process. You create, you implement, you evaluate, you change, you create, you implement, you evaluate, you change, right? It's an ongoing process. It evolves over a period of time. Number 2, matching internal potential with external environment opportunities, right? This is what we will study in depth when we do SWOT analysis and when we do TOWS analysis. जब हम ये दो चीजें पढ़ेंगे तब हम इसके बारे में और पढ़ेंगे, SWOT में और TOWS में, that how do you balance your external factors with internal strengths and weaknesses and external opportunities and threats, right? Okay, we cannot stick to one policy for many years. Absolutely, Keshav. आपको रिवाइज करते रहना पड़ेगा with time, with changes. Okay, I see a question as well. Adani stocks gaining 1,000-2,000% in just 3 years is unpredictable. Absolutely. Like, who would have predicted that? Nobody can, right? You have a question what says angel investors or venture capital invest in startups. That's a different thing, okay? Because they do not have data how well. So that is where they build on. That is not even a strategic analysis, okay? Ramchandra, you cannot call it strategic analysis if they're just building it on assumptions or on intuition कि आज की डेट में मैं 1 करोड़ रुपए लगाऊंगा, in 10 years this will be 100 crores. That is speculation. That is speculation. This is not speculation. This is based on data and trend. If you do not have a data for a company, it is going to be speculation. Share market में आप जाके if you do not study a company, just invest in any company, it is speculation. Okay. Same thing happens with angel investors and VCs. If they're not using data to understand the company, they are speculating. Then they cannot call it strategic analysis. It is not a strategic analysis. It is pure speculation. We can, okay. Will I invest in that company? I don't know. But I think one thing that none of you called out was the revenues dropped because there was COVID in 2020, right? That is what the trick question I put for you. 2020 was the COVID year, so obviously sales to giregi, but it still maintained its profit and cash flow. So it's a very strong company and I would invest in that company. The sales dropped, the profits kept on increasing, the cash flow kept on increasing. Sales drop क्यों हुई? उसका reason था 2020 में COVID था, right? So once they are back into business, they have a strong net profit base. Essentially, it's a strong company. Let's go to the next one, which is a question for you. Competitive strategy involves which of the following aspects? It's a pure exam theory question. Competitive strategy involves which of the following aspects? Not an option. If you look 2022 as a 2020 as a normal year, it's your analysis. You're open to do any analysis that you want, right? कोई भी सही और गलत नहीं है उसमें. It's how you want to analyze things. Option D, all of the above, all of the above. 99.9% say option D. Vignesh has a different view. Let's see, Vignesh, if you are right or others are right. Jayashree has a different view. Okay. Mahesh has a different view. What else? देखते हैं. Majority people saying option D, and the correct answer is also option D. All of the above. All of the above. Generating competitive advantage, increasing market share, beating competition, सब कुछ करता है competitive strategy. Option D. Okay. Now, When we are talking about after this topic, let's take a break, right? I know after this topic हम एक break लेंगे and then we'll be back. Now, how do you mitigate strategic risks that arise from an external or internal factor? Okay. Strategic risk को पहले समझते कैसे? Now, you are building your strategy for future. It is not foolproof always. There will be changes, there will be challenges which will come from within or externally. For example, right? For example, Aparajita, can you understand this question? Means, do you want me to explain the answer or what? Okay, is high market share not a competitive advantage? No, it's not a competitive advantage. You can have a high market share but a loss-making company. How is that a competitive advantage? I can be the biggest player still making losses. Like railways. रेलवेज के पास तो competitive advantage है, market share बहुत बड़ा है, but competitive advantage क्या है? कुछ भी नहीं, right? Market share does not guarantee you a competitive advantage. Competitive advantage might guarantee you a market share. Like Paytm, absolutely Mahesh. Paytm has a good amount of market share, but कोई competitive advantage ही नहीं बचा, सब लोग बाकी खा गए. Google Pay is much easier, Phone Pay, Razor Pay, ये सब कुछ खा गए. Paytm बेचारा वॉलेट में ही रह गया अपना, right? Okay. Coming to the topic that we have here, how do you mitigate strategic risks that arise? For example, you open your business. Let's say you open your like a parlor. Okay, let's open a parlor and we keep 4 people for in our parlor. Okay, you start your business on let's say 1st April. 3rd April को 4 में से 2 लोग चले गए, कहते हमें आपके साथ काम नहीं करना, right? You open a parlor. You open a parlor and you open a parlor on 1st of April and on 4th of April, 4th or on 2nd of April or 2 days by, out of 4, 2 people say we don't want to work with you. That's a risk to your strategy arising internally. Okay, arising internally. You start your parlor on 1st of April. On 15th of April, the place you have rented, the landlord comes and says, boss, listen, I want to stop this rent. Whatever your kharcha is, I will pay. But I don't want to continue with the rent. There's an emergency that I need this property. External factor coming and building a risk to your strategy of building your business. कुछ भी हो सकता है, right? कोई भी risk हो सकता है. All of these are strategic risks. Now, how do you identify and fight these risks? Number one, strategic risk को पहले तो strategic risk को पहले we will understand whether it is external or it is internal. First we identify the risk is external or risk is internal. If the risk is external or internal, then second thing we check is whether it is short term or is it long term. Whether it is external, whether it is internal, whether it is short term, whether it is long term, right? स्ट्रेटेजिक रिस्क को ऐसे समझेंगे कि पहले या तो समझेंगे ये रिस्क बाहर से आ रहा है या मेरे अंदर खुद की कंपनी के अंदर है, ये छोटे कम समय के लिए है या बहुत ज्यादा समय के लिए है. ओके, external, internal, short term, long term. Now, if it is an external risk for a short period, external risk for a short period, right? क्यों हो सकते हैं वो? What could be a reason? So there could be errors in interpreting the environment which cause strategic failure. आपको पता चलता है यार मैं अपना अपना maybe there was an error in interpreting the environment which is causing a short-term risk to my strategy. There could be an error in interpreting what could happen. I did not prepare myself for so many changes or changes which were expected. Right? I should have been more careful. When you say, I'll give you another example, okay? I'll give you another example. बहुत ईजी है, समझ आ जाएगा. मिटिगेट मीन्स टू रिड्यूस द रिस्क. हिमांशु, इतनी इंग्लिश आनी चाहिए. देखो दोस्त, इतनी इंग्लिश आनी बहुत ज़रूरी है. इतना यू शुड नॉट बी आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन हिमांशु. थोड़ा इंग्लिश स्ट्रॉन्ग करनी पड़ेगी. ओके, नेक्स्ट. Let's take an example of you preparing for your examination. Okay, you preparing for your examination. You say, I am going to prepare. I have 2 months. Every day I will study for 5 hours. 5 घंटे रोज पढ़ूंगा. 2 महीने लगातार पढ़ूंगा. मेरी प्रिपरेशन हो जाएगी सीए इंटरमीडिएट की जी. ठीक है, सीए इंटरमीडिएट में मेरी रैंक आ जाएगी. आपने मस्त स्ट्रैटेजी बना ली सीए इंटर में अपनी रैंक लाने के लिए. वेरी गुड. This is your strategy. This is your strategy. 2 months, 5 hours daily. I will prepare and I will be a rank holder in CA Inter. Now what happens? What happens? External risk आ गया, right? Errors in interpreting causing strategic failure. What means short-term external failure? What this means is your friend, you're studying and your friend says, यार जल्दी आजा 2 दिन के लिए. There is a problem. I need your help, and you go to help them, and it wastes your 2 days. Okay, your friend calls and tells, I have some problem. External है friend आपका. It's not an internal thing. External environment है your friend. They call and tells you, I need your help. I'm stuck somewhere. I need your help, and that wastes your 2 days. That wastes your 2 days. So essentially, the risk to your strategy of this padna preparation is there was an error in interpreting. You should have yahin pe adjusted for some 2-3 days, right? You should have adjusted for 2-3 days कि कुछ भी हो सकता है. तो 2 महीने में 5 घंटे नहीं, 2 महीने में I know 10 days will be wasted, right? 10 days will be wasted, but I have to complete in 2 months, so I should make it 6 hours and not 5 hours, right? प्लानिंग आपको ऐसी करनी चाहिए थी. यू शुड हैव प्लान्ड लाइक दिस, बट नाउ दैट यू हैव नॉट, now that you have not, there is an external short-term risk to your strategy. Now because you have not adjusted for these 7-8 days, 10 days of idhar udhar jana ghumna firna, now your strategy is at risk, and this might cause your strategy to fail. This might lead your strategy to fail. ठीक है? Okay. Now, now, if there is a long-term external thing, if there is a long-term external thing that happens, right? Anything that can hamper your entire preparation. भाई आपकी बहन या बड़े भाई हैं, उनकी शादी पक्की हो गई. आप कहोगे बॉस आज ही शादी करनी थी, इसी महीने में आपको शादी करनी है, right? What happens is a change in the environment which is going to be long term. It's not going to be 5-6 days. It is going to take 2-3 months now, right? If your elder brother or sister is getting married now, what it is going to obsolescence, it is called obsolescence of strategy, which means strategy फाड़ के फेंक दो, खत्म, टाटा, बाय बाय, फिनिश, right? The strategy is no longer going to work because there is a long-term external risk to your strategy now. It's not a short-term 2-3 days thing. It's going to be 2-3 months of people coming, you going, you having a lot of work to do, being with your family, going here, saman lao, ye karo, wo karo, right? Your entire strategy is at risk of being zero. Your entire strategy is now zero because of a long-term external risk, right? इसको बोलते हैं external long-term risk changes might lead to this word here means zero कर देना, no longer relevant. Obsolescence means no longer relevant. Your strategy will be gone for a toss. Okay, now let's see internal. Your strategy remains the same. Strategy remains the same. Your short-term internal problem. There is a short-term internal risk, right? Which means प्रणव से शादी पोस्टपोन करा देना दोस्त. If you can do that. पंडित जी आके तो कहेंगे हाँ ठीक है अगले साल कर लेना. Now an internal risk which is short-term can be anything, like for example क्या हो सकता है? Organizational capacity is unable to cope up with strategic demands, which means now most of you are saying, सर हमने बुक्स ऑर्डर करी, बुक ही नहीं आ रही, मैं पढूं कैसे? मेरी बुक ही नहीं आ रही है, मैंने बुक्स ऑर्डर की हुई हैं, आई एम नॉट गेटिंग माई बुक्स, हाउ डू आई डू दैट? हाउ डू आई स्टडी? इंटरनल शॉर्ट टर्म रिस्क, 2 महीने में से 2 से 3 दिन तो आपके बुक्स का वेट कर रहे हो कि अरे बुक आएगी तो पढ़ेंगे, बुक ही नहीं आ रही है, राइट? दैट्स एन इंटरनल शॉर्ट टर्म रिस्क. An organization's capacity to is unable to cope up with strategic demands. You do not have the resources to cope up with what is building up, right? Internal short-term risk is कि you do not have the resources, or you falling ill is also a good example, Mahesh. I did not want to use that, right? Nobody wants you to fall ill. So I gave you a very simple example that you don't have books. Now your internal resource capacity is not able to meet your strategic aspiration कि यार मेरे को 2 महीने में syllabus करना है, but resource ही नहीं है, books ही नहीं है, right? This is how you mitigate, which is a great thing. Jaspreet says I'll take out printouts from the cafe. Absolutely, that is what we are going to study now. How do you mitigate the strategic risks, right? अभी हम सिर्फ risk के बारे में पढ़ रहे हैं, but great, this is how you will fight your risk. Now internal long term, इसको पता है क्या बोलते हैं? इंटरनल लॉन्ग टर्म का प्योर एग्जांपल बताता हूं. Now let's say you started 2 months back, आपने स्ट्रैटेजी बनाई, मैं दोनों ग्रुप्स पास करके दिखाऊंगा. आई विल क्लियर बोथ ग्रुप्स, आई विल क्लियर बोथ ग्रुप्स, और आप पढ़ना शुरू हो गए. एग्जाम से 10 दिन पहले समझ आ गया कि नहीं हो पाएगा. एग्जाम से 10 दिन पहले समझ आ गया कि दोस्त, 2 ग्रुप तो अपने बस की नहीं है. बोथ ग्रुप्स आर नॉट माय बस की, राइट? व्हाट हैपेंस इज it creates inconsistencies with the strategies are developed on account of changes in internal capacities and preferences. इनकंसिस्टेंट स्ट्रैटेजी थी आपकी, इसीलिए आपको रिस्क आ गया इतना बड़ा. योर स्ट्रैटेजी वॉज नॉट इन लाइन विद योर कैपेसिटी एंड प्रेफरेंस. आप सिर्फ दुनिया को देख के अपने कहा कि बोथ ग्रुप्स देने हैं मुझे, आपको खुद का ही नहीं पता था कि मैं कर भी सकता हूँ या नहीं. यू आर नॉट श्योर वेदर यू कैन डू दैट और नॉट. यू आर नॉट श्योर ऑफ योर कैपेसिटी, यू आर नॉट श्योर ऑफ योर प्रेफरेंसेज, यू आर नॉट श्योर ऑफ योर ओन एनवायरमेंट, योर ओन रिसोर्सेज. That is where your strategy was inconsistent. You were not aware of yourself, and that is why your strategy was inconsistent, and that is your internal long-term risk to the strategy. A business, if it is not aware, बहुत ही हवाबाजी में हाँ हाँ देख लेंगे, right? कितनी 5,000 बॉटल या 20,000 बॉटल बना देंगे हम, फैक्ट्री है नहीं, फैक्ट्री का पैसा है नहीं, और we are dreaming of 20,000 bottles as a business. Not possible, right? Inconsistent with the resource and capacity. You cannot be aspirational without knowing your resources. It is an internal long-term risk. समझ आ गए दोस्त? strategic risk. Simple examples. ना वही है, right? अब्दुल से 2 महीना पहले रैंक तेरा भाई लाएगा, इसके बाद कह रहे भाई पढ़ना कहाँ से है? सर आर नोट्स इनफ? 2 महीने पहले मैं रैंक लाऊंगा, अभी क्लास में आके सर स्टडी मटेरियल छोड़ो, टाइम नहीं है. इज योर पीपीटी एनफ? यही होता है सबके साथ, यही होता है. एब्सोल्युटली गीत, यू आर राइट. इफ शॉर्ट टर्म रिस्क कैन बिकम लॉन्ग टर्म इफ प्रॉपर केयर इज नॉट टेकन. एब्सोल्युटली. बुक्स नहीं आई, 2 महीने हो गए, बुक्स नहीं आई तो हम एग्जाम नहीं देंगे. जनता कहेगी भाई तुमसे बड़ा तो आलसी आदमी कोई नहीं है. ओके, लेट्स टेक अ ब्रेक. इट्स 8:15, राइट? लेट्स टेक अ ब्रेक ऑफ, आई से 5 मिनट्स ही लेते हैं, 10 बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. ठीक है, 8:20, 21, 22, आई गिव यू अनदर 1-2 मिनट. 7-8 मिनट का ब्रेक ले लेते हैं. ओके, व्हेन वी कम बैक we talk about the framework for strategic analysis, right? How do you do an external analysis? How do you do an internal analysis? Think about the question, think about the example I just gave. If you have any questions, we'll come back, solve that doubts as well. लेट्स टेक अ ब्रेक ऑफ 7-8 minutes, 8:15 at 21:22 तक वापस आ जाओ प्लीज, ठीक है? एंड देन वी स्टार्ट विथ फ्रेमवर्क फॉर स्ट्रेटेजिक एनालिसिस, एंड आई होप the session is going clear. आके पूछता हूँ ये, if you have any doubts we'll do that. Let's take a break for 7-8 minutes. All right, everyone, I am back. I'll wait for another 1 minute for you guys to be back as well. If you are able to hear me, be back another 1 minute, and then we'll get back to where we left off, which is framework for strategic analysis, which is basically now we will understand how to actually fight these risks, or how can a business plan strategically against these risks better. How do I reduce the risk जो अभी हमने पढ़ा है. If you're back, give me a thumbs up. Good to know that, Darshan, my examples are helping. I hope the things are getting clear, right? I hope the concepts are the, the easy and you're able to understand the concepts as well. Okay, I see a few of you back. Good, 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 good. What else? Let's just wait for another 30 seconds, I guess, for others to join in as well. And then we begin. We understood about what are the risks to a strategy. What are the things that can create a risk or can pose a risk to your existing strategy. Now we will understand how can a business plan strategically against these risks, right? Against these risks, how can a business plan strategically? ताकि ऐसे ये रिस्क जो है, ताकि ये जो रिस्क है ये रिड्यूस हो जाए. ये जो रिस्क है ये रिड्यूस हो जाए, इसके लिए बिजनेस क्या क्या कर सकता है. ओके, ग्रेट. फर्स्ट इज एक्सटर्नल एनालिसिस कर सकता है to reduce your external risks. To reduce your external risks, what a business can do is it can do customer analysis, it can do competitor analysis, it can do market analysis, and it can do environmental analysis. Okay, when we say customer analysis, right, they should understand what the customer wants, who the customer is, where the customer sits, right? That will help them reduce the risks to their strategy if they understand the customer better. If they understand the competitor better as well, which is competitor analysis, strategy objectives, the culture, the cost structure, right? How are these competitors actually working? What is their business model? All of this helps in understanding the competitor better and thus reducing the risk to your strategy. Number three is market analysis. The market, the growth of the market, profitability, and right. If you understand your market better, if you understand your market better, the size, the growth, the profitability, the entry barriers, this is what happens when you understand the market better, a segment better. What am I going to sell to? Who am I going to sell to? Your risk to your strategy starts falling as well, right? Because your strategy becomes stronger, right? The strategy becomes stronger. Your strategy starts to reduce all these risks that can happen because you have analyzed so many things. Final is environmental analysis. Technological, government, economic, cultural, demographic. If you understand your entire environment, what you studied in BCK, BCK maybe talked about macro and micro environment. If you do that analysis, the chances of your strategy facing some risk from external factors reduces because आपने सारे scenarios बना लिए. If this happens, what? If that happens, what? If this happens, what? If that happens. Strategic management is, we studied yesterday, right? It is corporate defense mechanism. It aims to reduce the risk And this is how it aims to reduce the risk through strategic analysis by doing a customer analysis, competitor analysis, a market analysis, and environmental analysis, right? The question in the exam will come, how can a business reduce the risk of strategy or a strategic risk from external factors? These 4 points with the examples given, you have to write in the examination, right? External analysis. Four things you do in external analysis to reduce the strategic risk from external factors. Now, all of these analysis, when you do all of this analysis, you understand what are the opportunities in the market, what are the threats in the market, what is the trend in the market, and what can go wrong and what can go right. You understand all of these things, and then your strategy becomes much more stronger than just data analysis. सिर्फ डेटा एनालिसिस से बेटर है आप कस्टमर एनालिसिस करो, कंपेटिटर एनालिसिस करो, मार्केट एनालिसिस करो, एनवायरमेंटल एनालिसिस करो, एंड देन यू बिल्ड एन स्ट्रैटेजी because now you know the opportunity, you know the threat, you know the trend, you know the uncertainties, right? And that is where the framework of strategic analysis comes into picture. Okay, I see some questions. Let me get to some questions before I move ahead. Okay, Ramchandra, what is your question? You have very long questions, Ramchandra. If you start giving me smaller questions, I have to read this entire thing. Give me concise questions, right? This sudden shift in external environment, how can we mitigate? We're just doing that. यही तो पढ़ रहे हैं. Like see what happened, note ban, government suddenly out of blue banned 500 rupees currency. In this situation, some things are out of control, right? अब COVID आ गया, nobody knew that. Earthquake आ गया, fire हो गया, right? If there's a fire in your factory, or if there's an earthquake, if whatever labor union does a protest within your company, you cannot control. Some things are beyond your control. Strategic analysis tries to mitigate, reduce the risk, not make it zero. Risk will stay anyway. Business means risk, right? Strategy means it will be risky, but all these analysis helps you reduce that risk. It helps you to reduce the risk. That is what we are studying here. Mitigation. Mitigation means reduction, trying to make it as low as possible, but there will still remain some risk, like a note ban just saying, or a COVID like happened, right? ये तो रहेगा ही दोस्त. Okay, coming to internal analysis, how do you strengthen your internal? जैसे हमने पढ़ा, हमको पता ही नहीं, हमें बुक्स आ रही है 2 दिन बाद, और internally both groups का plan किया हो नहीं रहा है. So what? How can you reduce those risks in your strategy? Number one, performance analysis. You should know how you perform in examinations, right? Some people, like everybody knows what, how they have been performing, right? School may, if you were a topper, then you know you are good at studies. If you were not a topper, you were in like top 10, top 20, you know you're good at studies, right? If you think I was in not in, even not in top 20, then you know that I'm not very good at studies, or I don't want to do that, which is fine, right? But you then create your strategy, so you know that I do not have much interest in study, so it will take me more time to study. I do not need 2 months, I need 4 months to prepare, because I am a slow learner, right? I learn slow, I want things to go slow, so it will take me 4 months to do both groups. Can I manage 4 months? Yes, I go for both groups. Can I manage only one group in 4 months? Yes, I can do only, I know myself, right? That is where your performance analysis comes into picture. You look at, from a business perspective, you look at your profitability over the years, your sales, your customer satisfaction, your product quality, your relative cost, your new products, your human resource. Internal resources को analyze करोगे, तभी strategy foolproof बनेगी, right? You cannot just dream big without having the resources or planning for your resources, right? You cannot think I want to do an MBA in USA, right? You plan to do MBA from, let's say, Harvard or Stanford, and you do not know how will you fund that 2 crore rupees. कौन देगा? कहाँ से लाओगे? कितना लोन ले लोगे? Right? Unless you are aware of the resources, you cannot just be too aspirational with your strategy. With your strategy, not dreams. These are not dreams. These are strategy, actual strategy है, ठीक है? Second analysis, what you will do to reduce the internal strategy risk is determinant analysis, right? Determinant analysis. इसको इसका क्या मतलब होता है? Determinant analysis is fantastic thing to refer, okay, which is your past and current strategies. Your past and current strategies, have they worked or not? You analyze that. Strategic problems you faced in last time. 12th के boards में foundation की preparation के time मेरे को क्या challenges आए थे? You learn from that to build your foolproof strategy in intermediate level, right? That is what determinant analysis is. Learn from your mistakes, from your past trends, from your organizational capabilities, right? Can I take a tuition which is like 1 lakh rupees, or I do not have resources? I will go for some free classes. I will figure out, I'll do self study, which is fine. I am aware of what suits me, right? Constraints, what are my capabilities, what are my weaknesses, right? What are my financial resources, what are my strengths? I am good at theory and I'm very poor at practical subjects. So I will analyze that way. Ki out of the 2 months, only 15 days for theory because I'm good at it. 40 days I have to focus on practical subjects. You strategize like that, right? Strategy ऐसे build करोगे. When you know your internal, you know your trend, what challenges you have faced earlier, use that analysis to build your strategy. That will reduce the risk of your strategy flopping. That will reduce the risk of your strategy going for a toss. Right? Simple है ना दोस्त? ये तो common sense है. That is what I keep saying. Subject पूरा common sense का. It's just too many fancy words, but the essence remains the same. So how do you reduce as a business the risk to your strategy when the risks are external is by doing customer analysis, competitor analysis, market analysis, and environment analysis. You reduce the internal risk to a strategy by doing a performance analysis and your determinant analysis, right? Very frequently asked exam topic. Okay, great. This is an entire thing. वही same चीज है. It's a framework of strategic analysis. I'll upload this today. Go through it. It's the same thing. I've just zoomed this. ये zoom किया हुआ है. ये zoom out किया हुआ है. You will find the same thing in your study material. Okay. Great. I see some questions. So who does this analysis in companies? Top management does that. Marketing heads, CEOs, CFOs, right? Senior managers, strategic consultants. They do all of this. Okay. What is this, Jaydev? Jaydev, आप लेट हो या हम लेट हैं? आप लेट हो. I've already, I told 24 तक मैं रुका था. How strong is strategic analysis of Tata Groups, which has sustained? Obviously very strong. Does corporate level managers undertake such analysis? Absolutely. Corporate level managers are essentially the key people who are doing all of this. What else? Any questions, any doubts over me, or we can move forward? Next one, which is strategic analysis, the method in brief, right? How do you do strategic analysis? Any questions, or we can move forward? Give me a thumbs up or an okay, whatever. No questions? Good. Awesome. No doubts? Perfect. Thanks for calling that out, Bhumika. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is strategic analysis methods in brief, which means strategic analysis karte kaise hain? Now, to your question, I understand there is a risk to my strategy. I have to build a competitive advantage. I need to have a core competency. I need to understand my competitive landscape. समझ आ गया मुझे. But ये strategic analysis करते कैसे हैं? अब इसको पूरे को let us collate all of everything what we have learned in the last 1.5 hours. Let us bring this together to understand, right, how a strategic analysis is done. Number one, dominant economic features of the industry. Pehले, I'll go through all of these and then we'll go one by one. Dominant economic features of the industry, nature and strength of the competition, triggers of change, identifying the strongest and weakest companies, likely strategic moves of the rivals. Okay, key factors for competitive success, which are KSFs, three magic questions for success, we'll study that, and prospects and financial attractiveness of the industry. Okay, there are seven things you analyze when you do a strategic analysis. There are seven things you analyze when you do a strategic analysis. Okay. Now, let us understand with an example. All of us, all of us have 50 crore rupees. ठीक है. आपके पास हम सब के पास 50-50 करोड़ रुपए हैं. Now you have to invest. You have to decide whether you want to go into the business of Ola or Uber. क्या आप एक ऐसी कंपनी बनाना चाहोगे which will fight Ola and Uber, right? How will you analyze that? How will you analyze that? You have 50 crores and you have to decide now. Okay, you have to decide now whether you want to build a company which is going to fight Ola and Uber in cab sharing or cab hailing services, online booking services. May would you want to invest in that industry? Would you want to build that company or business? Puneet says no. Reason भी दो मुझे. Give me reasons as well, not just a yes or no. कैसे पता चलेगा मुझे no क्यों बोला पुनीत? Would you want to do that business? Yes or no? Puneet says no. Tushar says, is there space in the market? Absolutely. आप बनाओगे ना space. You have 50 crore rupees. आप बनाओगे space. Thanks, Navneet. I think if it's clear, I'm good. I'm happy that explanations are helping you. Okay, Himanshu says by looking into their capital structure and profit on investment, how well established they are. You do not have to invest in Ola and Uber, दोस्त. You have to build a business same as Ola and Uber ताकि आप उनको out कर दो and you become the leader in cab hailing services. Question ये है. Question ये नहीं है कि आप Ola Uber में invest करोगे या नहीं. You have to create a competition for Ola and Uber. क्या आप वो business बनाओगे? Is the question. Okay. Abdul says it's very cluttered and for that reason I'm out. आपकी expertise नहीं है उसमें. ठीक है, समझ गए सर. No, there is no entry possible. I will do something else, okay? Because still there is opportunity space. Now there are also various competitors in the market. No, no, no. Somebody says yes, right? Somebody says a yes by analyzing, okay? Majority say no. Somebody says yes. What about others? बाकी लोग को interest ही नहीं है. I want all of you to answer. Let us know. Would you build that business or not? आपका पूरा syllabus complete हो जाएगा उससे. If you answer that question, if you understand that, you will understand everything. No, there are already too many competitors in that business. ठीक है? Yes, because still there is opportunity. You can know after strategic analysis. वही तो करना है. ये क्या बात हुई? ये that is the question. Strategic analysis आपको करना है. मेरे को क्या बोल रहे हो? करोगे तो बताएंगे. Okay, no, 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 no. Looking back, competitors, how they're managing without. Yes, but after analyzing, why not acquire the company which is leading? 50 करोड़ में रामचंद्र कैसे acquire करोगे ओला उबर? 50 crores में ओला उबर खरीद लोगे? Great. Okay. All of you just did strategic analysis. All of you with this question just did strategic analysis. All of you did all the 7 steps. आपने अपने दिमाग में ये सारे 7 steps कर लिए, आपको पता भी नहीं चला. Okay, I'll tell you why and how. Okay, when you were analyzing whether you want to invest 50 crores in a business of Ola and Uber, सेम कैब हेलिंग सर्विसेज में जाना है या नहीं जाना है, एज अ बिजनेस, एज एन इन्वेस्टर, एज ए न्यू बिजनेस पर्सन और एन एंटरप्रेन्योर, आप जाओगे या नहीं जाओगे, आपने फर्स्ट यू आइडेंटिफाइड द डोमिनेंट इकोनॉमिक फीचर्स ऑफ दैट इंडस्ट्री. You figured out your Ola and Uber are not making so much money, they are loss making, or they're very bare minimum profit making, right? The industry is not very profitable in India right now. The industry is not very profitable in India right now. ये आपने सोचा, right? This is called dominant economic features of the industry, whether it is very profitable or it is not very profitable, right? Then you analyze the nature and strength of the competition. आपने सोचा कि Ola and Uber are very strong competitors, so I might not go. They are already there, saturated market है, right? Saturated market है, मेरे जाने का कोई मतलब नहीं है, right? You analyze that. Then you said triggers of change. You also felt यार और जगह हो सकती है because Ola and Uber still have problems. Your cab owners canceling your cabs, cabs not coming on time. The prices are huge, 600 रुपए for 5 kilometers. The pricing is abrupt. It is very costly, right? So there are triggers of change. The change is needed, right? There are things that need to change in the industry, and we as a business can do that. Maybe that creates an opportunity. Then you went on to identify the strongest and the weakest companies, right? ये पढ़ेंगे अभी हम इसके बारे में आगे, बट यू आइडेंटिफाइड ओला उबर सबसे तेज है, बट नीचे यू हैव दिस आईएनडी ड्राइवर और एन और बाइक शेयरिंग ऐप कौन सी आती है, रैपिडो है, ये दूसरी दूसरी एप्स हैं. यू आइडेंटिफाइड द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट and the weakest companies in the industry, right? You identify the strongest and the weakest companies to figure out किससे लड़ना है और किससे नहीं लड़ना है, right? Who you need to fight and who you do not need to fight or ignore. Okay. Number 5, you said likely strategic moves of rivals. You would have also thought, if I do this cab hailing services, how will Ola and Uber try to beat me, right? The likely strategic moves of the rivals, how will they challenge me? How will they want me to move out of the industry because I am taking their customers away, right? The number 6 is key factors for competitive success. The 3 magic questions for success. Hold on to this. We will do this after this thing, right? And then we'll come back to this example when we do this, but hold on to this. The 3 magic questions that you should ask, which will tell you whether your idea or business will be successful or not. Okay. And finally, prospects and financial attractiveness of the industry. Is it a growing industry or is it a dying industry? It's a growing industry. Is it financially attractive? Not very much. ग्रो तो बहुत ज्यादा होगी, बट पैसा कमाने की अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं है बिकॉज इज वेरी कॉस्टली एंड पीपल डू नॉट वांट टू पे हायर प्राइसेस. पीपल आर बाइंग कार्स इंस्टेड ऑफ गोइंग फॉर कैब्स. पेट्रोल का प्राइस इतना हाई हो रहा है, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू सस्टेन दिस इंडस्ट्री इवन दो इट इज ग्रोइंग, इट हैज प्रोस्पेक्ट्स बट नॉट वेरी फाइनेंशियल अट्रैक्टिवनेस, राइट? The key factors for success नहीं है, वो key success factors. We call them KSFs only, which is key success factors. Okay. But this is how you do strategic analysis. अक्षय कुमार, आपका chat box पे enter ही enter है दोस्त. ये अपना हाथ हटाओ enter से. You're spamming my chat. Okay. Now, likely strategic move. So you understand the entire flow. What is happening here is dominant economic features of the industry, whether it is an attractive industry or not, nature and strength of the competition, triggers of change. What is changing? How can you bring a change? Identifying the strongest and weakest companies to see who to fight and who to ignore. Likely strategic moves of the rivals. How will the rivals, how will the competition want to beat you? How will they respond to your strategies? आपको ये likely strategic moves को ध्यान में रखना है. Then their key success factors, the three magic questions we'll study, and prospects and financial attractiveness of the industry, whether it is a growing industry or it is a dying industry, right? That's a good strategy, Sudhanshu, that you will enter this segment but with electric vehicles. That is what blue smart cabs are doing, right? जो blue smart cabs आ रही है वो EV के साथ इस segment में आ रही है. They're doing what you just said. Now I'll give you another example. Okay, एक और example लेते हैं और उसके बाद ये आपका topic forever खत्म हो जाएगा. Now we understood whether we want to invest in cab services or not. Now again you have 50 crore rupees. You have again 50 crore rupees. This time you want to analyze. You want to analyze whether you want to go into, right? Whether you want to go into an industry of making chips. आपको chips बनाने हैं, right? You want to create healthy chips, let's say, not just chips, you want to create healthy snacks, makhane or XYZ. Anything which is healthy snacks is what you want to build your business on. Would you go and build a business of healthy snacks? Yes or no, and why? Akshay, you're spamming my chat. Please don't do that. Too many enters, too many empty spaces. नहीं, एक ही अक्षय कुमार है. I see only one Akshay, right? There are too many enters and empty messages. No problem. If you're not doing that, that's fine. Not an issue. If there are many competitors or participants in one industry, profit prospects are less likely to accrue the company. Absolutely right. Profit but जाएगा सब में. If there are many competitors, it will get divided into all the competitors. Your analysis is right. Again, Riya, Krishna, yes तो बोल रहे हो, but give me a reason as well. Why? Why do you think it is attractive? Why is a healthy snacks business attractive? आपने ये सब किया. In your head, you again did all of these 7 things, right? In your head, you again did all of these 7 things. Very quickly you did that and you said a yes or a no. But why? But why? Majority people saying yes because there is less competition, some issues to me as a consumer. I will go into the business as Lay's and Uncle Chips are most popular, but they aren't healthy because now people are health conscious. Yes, because healthy chips without trans fat, because margin is high, there is vacuum in the market. Absolutely, right? Because it will improve the health of the society and will be really profitable because food industry has no end and we can explore many more items, so it will be profitable. No, because already there are many companies like Haldiram's, Lay's, etc. in that sector. No, because there is a lot of competition. Yes, because you're thinking, Syed, no problem. You can just see this topic again in the recorded one. Next topic से पकड़ लेना, कोई बात नहीं, चलता है. Okay. Most of the people love snacks. There is a lot of competition. Still, there is hope for another player in the market. If I will go, I won't invest 50 crores in one bucket. No, you have to do that. And you don't have that option, Abdul. आपको बोल रहे 50 crore एक ही business में डालना है. Right? Because change in the market, people are getting health conscious. Sudhanshu says people are getting health conscious. Sudhanshu, are you health conscious? Okay. Everyone wants to eat chips, but healthy chips, not oily and healthy. So yes, yes, yes. 90% of the people are saying yes, right? Because आपने ये एनालाइज किया, स्ट्रेटेजिक एनालिसिस किया अपने दिमाग में कि डोमिनेंट इकोनॉमिक फीचर क्या है, नेचर एंड स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ कंपटीशन क्या, ज्यादा कंपटीशन नहीं है, देयर इज नो ज्यादा कंपटीशन. डोमिनेंट इकोनॉमिक फीचर्स इज देयर इज सो मच ग्रोथ पोटेंशियल, देयर इज सो मच मनी टू मेक देयर. Triggers of change, people are changing, people are becoming health conscious, identifying strongest and weakest companies. You know, even if Lay's, Haldiram's hai, there is a place for another player, right? Likely strategic moves of rivals, they will also build, but the market is so huge, सबका काम चल जाएगा. Key success factors पे will come. And finally you said profitable business है दोस्त, आधा पैकेट तो हवा से ही भरा होता है, right? That is what you said. So prospects and financial attractiveness of the industry is huge, and majority of yes majority of people hence said yes. यही तो CEO CFO भी कर रहे हैं दोस्त. I am Karan. I'm getting your messages, right? This is what the CEO CFO is doing. Is what you're doing sitting in your bed on a Sunday morning. इतना simple है देखो. Okay, great. Let's understand these things, right, with a little detail now. Driving forces, most dominant forces, you identify them, you analyze their impact and find the most common ones to focus on, right? For example downward GDP जा रही है क्या, e-commerce बढ़ रहा है तो you will start selling your chips online. Now you will look at the triggers of change. You will look at how लोगों को घर बैठे सब कुछ चाहिए. डंजो पे स्विगी पे जाएंगे और सर्च करेंगे. अगर आपके हेल्दी चिप्स वहां पे दिखेंगे तो वो पीपल विल स्टार्ट बाइंग दैट. यू विल यू थिंक देयर इज अ ट्रिगर ऑफ चेंज. आज की डेट में मुझे लेज की तरह हर शॉप में चिप्स रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. आई डू नॉट हैव टू कीप माई चिप्स इन ऑल द शॉप्स, right? I can be on Dunzo, I can be on Flipkart, I can be on Swiggy, I can be on whatever big basket and everything, and people will buy from app. E-commerce ko use karke I can do my business, right? You're analyzing. There is a triggers of change. The technology is changing, people's mindset is changing, and you will use that for your business. Internet, product innovation. You're bringing healthy food, product innovate kar rahe ho aap, right? Exit and entry of major firms. You see a lot of companies are also entering that business. Healthy chips like Virat Kohli ka, there's this brand that sells healthy chips, right? A lot of major investors are coming into this market, so it gives you a confidence कि इधर पैसा कमा सकते हैं. That is why they are coming in the market. There is potential. Then changes in customer behavior. We just discussed health conscious people not wanting oily food anymore. So changes in customer, these are all driving forces. These are your triggers of change that happen in an industry that gives you confidence that whether you should go for this business or not, right? It gives you confidence whether your strategy of going into this business is right or wrong. It will give you a confidence. स्ट्रैटेजिक ग्रुप मैपिंग, यहाँ पे हमने पढ़ा स्ट्रैटेजिक ग्रुप मैपिंग के बारे में. आइडेंटिफाई द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट एंड द वीकेस्ट कंपनीज दैट यू आर गोइंग इनटू. हाउ डू यू डू दैट? ओके, यू डू दैट बाय लुकिंग एट स्ट्रैटेजिक ग्रुप मैपिंग. कुछ ऐसा सा दिखता है ग्राफ. ओके, how the graph looks at is basically on the left hand side you have reputation of the company, that is your brand name. ठीक है, यहाँ पे आप समझ सकते हो ब्रांड नेम की वैल्यू क्या है. और ब्रांड नेम की जगह लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड ब्रांड वैल्यू. ठीक है, ब्रांड वैल्यू है और यहाँ पे है उनका रेंज ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स. यहाँ पे उनका है रेंज ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स, आपको नीचे दिख ही रहा है, राइट? दिस इज योर ब्रांड वैल्यू एंड दिस इज योर रेंज ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स, राइट? ओके, नाउ यस अंकित, आई कैन सी ये आपका चार्ट आ रहा है. चार्ट तो मेरा आ रहा है. ओके, let me just see some questions and then I'll come to this. I'm getting the practical shift. I know particular segment industry selectively. I have a strong R. Okay. Too Yum, right? Brand's name was Too Yum. Okay, because the snacks are now available, most of them fried. Absolutely. Okay, coming to strategic analysis, strategic group mapping. Now, a question to you is, if you look at this thing that is on your screens, you look at what is on your screen, right? So it's simple. दोस्त हम कुछ नहीं कर रहे, हम strategic analysis कर रहे हैं. उसके अंदर हम पढ़ रहे हैं how do you analyze a business. Okay, so just listen to what we are talking about here. Strategic analysis में strategic group mapping के अंदर the question to you is, tell me which company has the highest reputation out of all the 5 companies that you see. Which company has the highest reputation? Which company has the highest reputation or has the highest brand value? Which company out of these has the highest brand value? Highest brand value, brand value. GHI, 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 GHI. Your message is reaching. Yes. PQR, 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 GHI, GHI, GHI. Geet says Reliance and Tata. Reliance Tata किधर है दोस्त? किधर चला गया? ये दो ही कंपनी में फंसा हुआ है गीत बेचारा, रिलायंस और टाटा में. इधर किधर है रिलायंस एंड टाटा? Okay, PQR, PQR, GHI. What else? GHI because it is the highest on y-axis. ये गीत लिख रहा है Amazon टेस्ला. भाई किधर जी रहे हो? ये क्या दूध में क्या मिला के पिया दोस्त? GHI, PQR, GHI. The correct answer is GHI. The correct answer is GHI because ब्रांड वैल्यू वाई एक्सेस पे है दोस्त. ये रेपुटेशन की अगर मैं ऐसे बना दूं लाइंस, सबसे ज्यादा रेपुटेशन किसके पास है? अब देखो, if I give points to brand value, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4 and this is 5. तो 5 out of 5 तो GHI के पास हैं and 4 out of 5 are with PQR. एवरेज अगर इसका ले लूं, इसका एवरेज विल बी 3.5, राइट? अगर ये इन लाइंस के बीच में है, इसका एवरेज लूंगा, इसका एवरेज है 4.5, राइट? इसका एवरेज है 4.5. तो GHI के पास ज्यादा रेपुटेशन हुई ना दोस्त, GHI के पास ज्यादा रेपुटेशन है. ओके, नाउ अनदर क्वेश्चन टू यू. विच इज द बिगेस्ट प्लेयर इन द मार्केट? Which is the biggest player in the market? PQR. Hi Soham, your message is reaching. ये देखो गीत बिना स्क्रीन देखे सुन के कुछ भी आंसर लिख रहे हैं दोस्तों. कह रहे हो फ्रॉम चार्ट, ऑब्वियसली फ्रॉम चार्ट. सोहम पतंजलि किधर से आया मेरे भाई? देयर इज नो पतंजलि हियर. Which is the biggest player in the market? I see people writing PQR. Okay, let's see. What about others? PQR, 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 PQR. That is right. PQR is the biggest player in the market. Okay. Now final question. Final question. Okay. The question to you is, which out of these companies you think, which out of these companies you think is the toughest competitor for you? Who do you think is the market leader here? Which company, as per your analysis, is the most the biggest competitor? जो सबसे ज्यादा चलती कौन सी है ये कंपनी, ये बताओ. This is your, let's say, cosmetics industry. Okay, these are all cosmetic companies. सब शैम्पू बना रही है, eyeliner, lipstick, सब कुछ बना रही हैं. Which one do you think is the सबसे ज्यादा चलने वाली company? It's the most used company, or the most people would buy from that company. What do you think? There's a fight between PQR and GHI. Let's see. Which one do you think customers would be going for the most? 90% of the people say GHI because it has the most reputation, while the largest competitor and market leader is PQR. Okay, the correct answer is GHI. GHI और PQR के साइज में ज्यादा फर्क नहीं है. They're almost equal. They're almost equal, but GHI has way more brand value than PQR, right? GHI और PQR की रेंज साइज में ज्यादा फर्क नहीं है, right? रेंज साइज में मार्केट में, see, this is their business size. This is like 500 crore की company. This is 400 crore की company. If you look at the size of the circle, right? This is what, like 200 crores. This is 100 crores, and this is what, 40 crores की company, let's say. ठीक है? Now the size difference is not much, but the loyalty they have is huge. So for GHI, it is very easy to beat PQR in revenue because they have so much loyalty. ये इतने लॉयल कस्टमर्स हैं, अगर ये आज 5% अपना प्राइस इंक्रीज भी कर दे, अगर GHI आज 5% अपना प्राइस इंक्रीज भी कर दे, द कस्टमर्स विल पे फॉर इट बिकॉज इट हैज ह्यूज रेप्यूटेशन इन द मार्केट, राइट? वाइल PQR अगर अपना प्राइस 5% से बढ़ाएगी, इट डज नॉट हैव रेपुटेशन. इतना लो सेगमेंट में रेपुटेशन बैठे, देखो इतना नीचे भी बैठे, इतना ऊपर भी बैठे. सम प्रोडक्ट्स हैव लो रेपुटेशन, सम प्रोडक्ट्स हैव हाई रेपुटेशन, so it cannot increase the prices easily. So GHI has a bigger chance of winning over PQR in the short term and the long term, right? सही बोल रहा हूँ? This makes sense. GHI is Apple and PQR is Samsung. Mostly yes, you're right. Could be a case. You're absolutely right. Good examples there. Correct? Low price elasticity for Gen Z. Is that what you're saying, Mahesh? So GZ kya hai? GHI or is it Gen Z? But this is right. GHI has more loyal customers, has more brand loyalty, has more brand value than PQR. And they are in much more better position to actually win the competition. Now a final question from this graph. Okay. यहाँ पे let me just make it simple for you. अब हम समझते हैं from our business perspective. Okay. ये तो हमें समझ आ गया what is happening in the industry. Now you are starting a business. Now you are starting a business and your projection is this financial year, you will do a business of 25 crores. Okay. You will do a business of 25. You're entering this industry. And you're planning to do 25 crores of business with a small range of products, but the highest quality possible, highest quality possible to create the highest brand value. आपको बहुत हाई ब्रांड वैल्यू बनानी है by giving the best quality, right? Small range of products and you guess आपका business will be 25 crores का. ठीक है? Now the question to you is your most relevant competitor कौन सी कंपनी है? Your most relevant competitor company is which one out of all of these? Out of all these companies, which one is your most relevant competitor? कि यार इसके साथ competition मेरा हो जाएगा तगड़ा. ABC, right? ABC. Your most relevant competitor will be ABC. Correct है, right? ABC 40 करोड़ का बिजनेस है, हाई वैल्यू प्रोडक्ट्स बेच रहा है, हाई लॉयल्टी प्रोडक्ट्स बेच रहा है और रेंज इसकी भी कोई ज्यादा नहीं है. इट्स अ वेरी फ्यू रेंज वाला प्रोडक्ट. You as a business for now will not be concerned with PQR, will not be concerned with GHI, will not be concerned with DEF, will not be concerned with XYZ. Your only concern will be ABC. When you're entering this industry, आपको इससे फाइट करना है, आपको इससे फाइट करना है. This is called strategic analysis, strategic group mapping. This is called strategic analysis, strategic group mapping to identify who do I have to fight, bro. मेरे को लड़ना किससे है? मेरे को ABC से लड़ना है. मुझे ABC, इनसे मुझे कोई मतलब नहीं है. होंगे बड़े, होने दो. They are not even my competition in the industry, right? My competition is ABC. So I need to now understand ABC the most, what it does, how it does, what is the pricing, what are the products, what is the product quality, where does it sell, to whom does it sell, when does it sell, what are the schemes, who is the owner, who is doing what, innovation क्या है, R&D क्या है, expenses क्या है, profit margin क्या है, कितने employees हैं, factory कहाँ पे लगाई हुई है. I will have to now understand everything about my competitor, but the first step is to identify who my competition is. PQR की पूरी स्टडी करके जाओगे, आपका बिजनेस फ्लॉप हो जाएगा. PQR कंपटीशन ही नहीं है. पूरी स्टडी GHI की करके चले गए कि GHI को मैंने समझ लिया अच्छे से, आई विल डू अ बिजनेस नाउ. GHI कह रहे भाई कंपटीशन भी नहीं है, कंपटीशन तेरा ABC है, उसको तो पढ़ो. राइट. दिस इज कॉल्ड स्ट्रेटेजिक ग्रुप मैपिंग, which is part of strategic analysis, which is part of strategic analysis. Okay, इसको बोलते हैं strategic group mapping. Okay, name few examples of ABC. Could be anything here, I don't know, मतलब like your GHI PQR could be Lakme and big companies, right? L'Oreal, Lakme and all of these. ABC could be a very, I don't know, like there are too many organic companies nowadays which only make organic, like eyeliners or lipsticks, whatever it is, or creams or sunscreens, very small. There could be a company which is only making sunscreen, only making what, like essential oils or whatever it is. It can have a huge loyalty with a very few products. It can be a company, right? While taking decision, we have to analyze both, because if I increase price, PQR lose, but ABC win by my act. Absolutely. Absolutely, Tushar. This is called strategic group mapping. Great analysis. यही करती है कंपनी भी. ठीक है. KSFs, key success factors, right? ये हम पढ़ रहे थे. What are the 3 magical questions that can help you identify how to be successful or whether you will be successful in the business or not? The 3 magical questions called key success factors, KSF, called key success factor, are as follows. Key success factors. Number 1, what drives customer to competitors, right? आज की डेट में why is the customer going to your competition? What is that one thing or 2 things or whatever it is that your customers are buying or taking products and services from your competitors? What is driving the customer to competitors is what you need to ask as a question. Key success factor of the competition क्या है? Number 2, resources and competencies required to outshine the competition. I understood why is the customer going to the competitor. Second is, how do I bring the customer to me? What are the competencies, core competency, competitive advantage, ऐसी क्या लानी पड़ेगी so that people come to me instead of the competitor. Third one is, it should be sustainable competitive advantage. ये जो आप बनाओगे second question से, the thing that you create unique within your business to attract more customers, that should be sustainable. That should be sustainable, which means मच्छर आज मार खाएगा. Okay, which should be sustainable, which is basically means it should be long term. It should not be आज 3 महीने customers को ले लिया बाद में देखी जाएगी. Right? It should be a long-term sustainable competitive advantage which you can use over the years. Like somebody was giving an example of Tata. For 150 years, they have held to a brand loyalty, a brand value. For the last 150 years, people trust that brand. You have to create that sustainability over the years. Birla brand hai, KR Mangalam, schools and colleges and Birla Mandirs and everything. Everything is under Birla Group, right? Over the years, they have created that advantage for their business. It's sustainable. ऐसा नहीं है आज है कल नहीं है पता नहीं कहाँ चले गए, right? It's not like some of the startups we know. आज है कल कहाँ गए पता ही नहीं चला कहाँ गायब हो गए. Like there was something called as what, Snapdeal, right? Snapdeal खत्म हो गया, Jabong को खरीद के बंद कर दिया, right? All these companies, they sprung up so fast, but their advantages, their competitive advantage, their strategies, they were not sustainable. वो sustain नहीं हो पाए, वो खत्म हो गए. right? So when you're building these competencies, when you're building your advantages, they should be sustainable. And the question is how to make that sustainable. This is what CEOs, CFOs solve. We are not solving everything here, but you just have to understand what does a strategic management person do, right? This is one of the most highly paid jobs. ये MBAs, chartered accountants यही सब करते हैं, right? It's very interesting, very hectic, but absolutely that what happens. First point is like USP of the competitor. Absolutely yes. YouTube पे लाइव चैट नहीं होगा, so हम you have to get into BOS, बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज का वेबसाइट लाइव क्लासेस और द BOS ऐप में जाके देखो, वहां पे यू कैन पुट इन चैट में डाल तो रहे दोस्त, यूट्यूब चैट में क्यों डालना है, यहाँ चैट में हो तो मैं भी बता रहा हूँ चैट में कैसे जाओ, खुद ही चैट में बैठा हुआ है. ओके, लास्ट टॉपिक फॉर टुडे व्हाट विल डू, इट्स ऑलरेडी 9:15, एकदम लास्ट टॉपिक करेंगे विच इज कोर कॉम्पिटेंसीज, राइट? कोर कॉम्पिटेंसीज को पढ़ेंगे और ठीक है, 3 slides on this. We will study core competencies and then we will finish or wrap up the session for today and continue next Saturday from this. So core competencies lead to competitive advantage. You just solved that question in the morning, right? A company can consider having core competencies if it has one, competitor differentiation. That means it has something which is very unique and difficult for competitor to copy. Like Apple products, like Tesla self-driving cars, it is differentiating from the competition. Samsung cannot, is still not able to make something like an iPhone, or an Apple is not able to make something like a flip phone, right? Both of them have a competitor differentiation, technology differentiation, right? That is their core competency, that they're good at their own technologies. Number two is customer value. आप कुछ अलग तो बना सकते हो, you can do things differently, but that should be valued by the customer. You can do a lot of things which are unique and different from your competition, but unless they are valued by the customer, it is not a core competency. It is not a core competency, right? Core competency comes when it is also valued by the customer, when it has a real impact on the customer. वो उसको अच्छा लगता है, उसको यूज करके मजा आता है, उसको लाइफ इजी होती है, उसको कोई सोशल स्टैंडिंग मिलती है. लेट्स से a Starbucks or a big brand like a Louis Vuitton or a Burberry or whatever, big luxury bags or luxury cars like a Rolls Royce or Ferrari do, right? दे आर एक्सट्रीमली यूनिक. वो होंडा सिटी जैसी या बलिनो जैसी गाड़ी नहीं बनाता है, लैम्बोर्गिनी एकदम अलग गाड़ी बनाता है, राइट? एंड दे चार्ज मनी फॉर इट. दैट इज द यूनिक थिंग दैट दे डू, राइट? एंड द रियल इम्पैक्ट टू द कस्टमर इज द कस्टमर फील्स सक्सेसफुल while driving that car. वो एक इम्पैक्ट ला रहा है, कस्टमर को वैल्यू क्रिएट हो रही है. इवन इफ द कार इज फॉर 5 crore rupees, the customer still finds value in spending that 5 crore rupees. That is called core competency create karna, right? Application to other markets. A core competency should be applicable to whole organization to open up potential markets to be exploited, right? A core competency essentially is the most beneficial when it has multiple uses, right? Which means, understand this very carefully, your core competency should have multiple uses. Your core competency should have multiple uses. It should not be a one-time use. It should not be very closed innovation. It should be something that changes everything for everyone in the industry, right? Which changes everything for everyone in the industry. वैसा कुछ आपकी core competency होनी चाहिए, तभी वो आपको brings results to you as a company. If you're just innovating something which only you can use, you will never grow as a company, right? If you create something which becomes a necessity for everyone, like Apple bringing touch screen, पूरी दुनिया में आज टच स्क्रीन हो गया, there are no button phones left. Everyone is on touch screen. A new thing that changes the industry forever. That is the core competency a business should look for, right? We are talking about ideal scenarios, right? We're not talking कि यही होना चाहिए mandatory है. Mandatory nahi hai. It is not a rule of, it is not a thumb rule that you have to do this, but this is the ideal situation that creates something so unique that changes the industry for everyone, right? Bluetooth headphones or earbuds. Now wire wale khatam hote ja rahe hain. The technology, the core competency, somebody brought that technology unique to them and that changed the industry. Smart watches. पहले स्मार्ट वॉच जैसा कुछ नहीं होता था 3-4 साल पहले, right? Now everyone is wearing a smartwatch. That is what you bring into the industry that changes everything. That is a core competency, right? That is an ideal scenario where we understand a core competency. Okay, next, from core competency, why to identify and develop it. मैं बनाऊं ही क्यों core competency, जरूरत क्या है, जरूरत क्या है. One, the core competency fulfills 3 criteria. Number one, it provides potential access to wide variety of markets. It increases your customer base. Number two, right, a significant contribution to perceived customer benefits of the end product, right? Why a core competency should actually contribute to the customer satisfaction. A core competency adds to the customer satisfaction, your brand value increases, right? It provides potential access to a wide variety of markets. आपका customer base बड़ा होता है, customers आपके product को value करते हैं, आपकी brand value ऊपर जाती है, right? And it should be difficult to imitate. Your core competency, if it is difficult to imitate or copy, then only it is a core which is unique to you. अगर सब लोग कर लेंगे फिर वो core competency नहीं रह जाएगी. It will no longer be a core competency if everyone can copy it. Then it is not unique to you. It is not unique to you. It is not unique to you. It is no longer your core competency. So it should be very difficult for people to imitate, right? It should be very difficult. तभी वो core competency आपकी बनेगी. Okay, and examples लेते हैं आप इसके. Some examples of core competencies, like small retail shops might create a core competency. Like let's say there are 5 small shops in your area, 5 small kirana shops. Now one shop जहाँ पे let's say one of the young person comes into that shop and says कि आज से मैं ये संभालता हूँ, पापा आप घर पे बैठो, right? And he or she brings a core competency into their business, like a personal service or a free home delivery, right? या फिर एक अपनी शॉप की ऐप बना दी, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बना दिया, and they tell people of the locality या व्हाट्सएप पे अपनी लिस्ट भेज दो, we will deliver the goods at your place at 5% discount, right? They start giving ease to the customer. Now customer also starts valuing this, right? Customer starts valuing कि अरे वाह व्हाट्सएप पे इन्होंने अपना अकाउंट दे दिया, यहाँ पे लिस्ट डाल के सेलेक्ट कर लो, ये सामान चाहिए, and they deliver at 5% discount, right? That creates a core competency for their business and which is valued by the customer. For example, for big showrooms, what they do is low cost, high variety, right? Like a D-Mart. D-Mart का core competency क्या है? D-Mart का core competency क्या है? A D-Mart has a core competency which is price, right? Competitor is not able to meet the price point of D-Mart. उनका core competency is pricing. Pricing of D-Mart is core competency. Jio का क्या है? Jio की core competency is again quality at low price. They're in losses. Jio loss में है, but they're still giving quality at very minimal prices. IPL free में दिखाएंगे, फुटबॉल वर्ल्ड कप फ्री में दिखा दिया जियो सिनेमा पे, इंटरनेट को सस्ता कर दिया, right? These are the core competencies they are creating by giving high value, low pricing, or like a D-Mart giving wide variety of range at wholesale prices to retail customers. Giving wholesale prices to retail customers is what D-Mart ka core competency is, right? which is very unique, difficult for other competitors to copy. They're not able to copy. That is why तो डीमार्ट चल रहा है ना इतना, लोग कॉपी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. हाय अंकित, you're saying hi. मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ, अंकित is saying hi. Hi अंकित. Okay. What else? Any questions? Google glasses, electric bikes, electric vehicles, discounts, copyright, patent, trademark, and design and company. Exactly, that is how you save yourself, right? Sure, Sudhanshu, I'm not harming your mosquito friends. I'm just telling them दूर हो जाओ दोस्त, ठीक है? Okay. There's a question on the screen, the last question for today, and then we will wrap up the session. I'll take up just 2-3 minutes. Any questions you have, and then we meet on Saturday. But solve this question first, which is not the area identified in major core competencies. When you're building a core competency, which of the following is not important to identify or refer to? Okay, absolutely, Alok. It's very costly for a new business. C, I see D's and I see C's. YouTube पे chat नहीं होगी, so you will have to come to BOS. YouTube पे I think they have stopped. Last time तक था, but now it's stopped. अच्छा अंकित, you were trying to do on what's YouTube, तो आपका हो नहीं रहा था इसलिए हाय. ओके हाय अंकित. Okay, I see a lot of answers. The correct answer is profitability of the industry is not considered. Application to other markets तो consider होता है ना दोस्त. यही तो बोला, disrupting the industry like a touch screen, right? Or whatever examples we gave just now. ये देखो क्या लिखा है. Application to other markets, customer value, competitive differentiation. तीन चीजें तो हमको देखनी ही है कोर कॉम्पिटेंसी बनाने के लिए. कोर कॉम्पिटेंसी बनाते वक्त ये तीन चीजें तो हमको देखनी ही है, राइट? यही तो क्वेश्चन था कि क्या चीज नहीं देखोगे. कंपेटिटर देखोगे, कस्टमर देखोगे, एप्लीकेशन देखोगे, क्या नहीं देखोगे? प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी नहीं देखोगे, राइट? यही सवाल था दोस्त. ओके, let's stop here today and we'll start with next Saturday. We will understand how to build core competencies, and then we will go to understand. We are almost half, see 30 out of 62. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll upload the entire presentation. You can read, you can go through, we can discuss this next time if you have questions. Anyway, I'll teach you the rest of the part as well, but I'll anyway upload for you to understand. Okay. Can core competency be a strength? Absolutely. Core competency is your strength. It is your strength, right? With that, I think I'll just spend another 2 minutes. I am here for 2 minutes. If you have any doubts, any questions, I'll stay for 2 minutes. For others who do not have a doubt, thank you so much for the last two sessions. Thanks for being interactive. We have 10-12 more sessions. We will complete the entire chapter. I'll have a lot of questions for you, a lot of examples like we are doing, a lot of thinking that I'll make you do. So stay for this, and I'll try to make it as easy as possible. If you want to change something, if you want to give any feedback, you can just write in the chat as well that this is what you want more, this is what you want less. That helps me understand क्या सही जा रहा है. Right? Thanks, Diksha. Thank you so much. Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Tanisha, Akshay, Heaven. Heaven has a profitability of industry. Answer late I Heaven, but ठीक आया. Mesh, which app am I using? This is a PDF reader, dost. I just make presentation, convert that into PDF, and PDF viewer में जाके I use this app, right? Good, Ramchandra. You also like Like probably stay hungry only for good things. Maggie mat khana hungry. Okay, right? Stay hungry, stay foolish. That's a good book if you have read that. Sure, sir. It said all these study tips वगैरह I keep telling anyway, but last session ना एक practice session I have decided already. उसमें हम लोग पूरा समझेंगे how to write an answer. You can go to YouTube. I just remember बहुत time पहले एक video डाली थी. You can go refer that. Right? I've explained how to write an answer उसमें. I don't know if that makes sense to check that out. Yes, अमर last class के uploaded नहीं है, वो अब upload हो जाएंगे. अब upload हो जाएंगे वो. अच्छा ये पुराना हो गया क्या? मेरे तो रिफ्रेश हो गया, लास्ट क्लास वाला अमर फिर से नहीं पूछ, पहले का ही पूछा है. रिफ्रेश होके वापस चला गया सुबह 6 बजे की चैट पे. फनी. ओके, थैंक यू, थैंक्स. आई एम, आर यू एट होम? व्हाट डू यू थिंक सुधांशु? लग रहा है गोवा में हूँ मैं, ऐसा फील आ रही है क्या? मेरे ना, यू कैन डाउनलोड दीज इन BOS का वेबसाइट, इन डाउनलोड्स अंडर वर्चुअल लाइव क्लासेस अंडर नोट्स. यू कैन गो एंड डाउनलोड दीज. BOS ऐप में भी आप जाके डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं अंडर वर्चुअल लाइव क्लासेस नोट्स के अंडर. ओके. Is application of other market more about other markets than ours? Means effect of other markets on ours? No, it means our effect on other markets. हाउ टू मेंटेन नोट्स, रेफर द प्रेजेंटेशन दोस्त. नोट्स मैंने ऑलरेडी बनाए हुए हैं. ये नोट्स ही तो हैं आपके. स्टडी मटेरियल में तो बहुत डेप्थ में है, वो पढ़ना ही है. बट ये नोट्स हैं आपके लिए, यू कैन यूज दैट. व्हाई डू यू वांट टू डू डबल मेहनत? I just explained that, Tushar. It means your impact on the entire industry. Varsha, I think yes, your feed is coming thoda sa late, I guess. Yes, but I can see your responses anyway. Perfect. You understood everything, Darshan. Good to know that. Thanks, Ankit. Hope the explanations are working. So that's good to know. All right. Let's see you next weekend. Right. Awesome. Let's see you next weekend, guys. Be ready with chapter number 2 in depth. And that is where we will talk more about strategic management as well. I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.